When I first realized that I could combine these two loves I had for bicycles and for art, it was the movie Triplets of Belleville, which is insane. It's a cartoon. It's French. There's only one word in the whole movie, but it's good. It's not like it's an adult cartoon. And when I say that, I don't mean adults can watch it. It's not made for kids. It's made for the whole family. And I thought, oh my God, I have been inspired. And so the first one was Split Pea Soup. Now, see, okay, so these that are here are based off old cycling photos. To find out who the photographer was, I've got bicycle books from way back, and I've looked on the internet, and Getty Images, they bought these images out. It doesn't say who the photographer was anymore. It says property of Getty Images. I don't know if, I mean, I get it, Getty's owns them, but man, you'd still want to, who photographed these photos? You know, I know people know. I mean, somebody knows. Oh, that reminds me of a story when I was in Philadelphia one time. This dude from Italy came up and he said, I'm not going to try to do an Italian accent. I'm not going to try to do that to this dear gentleman who came up, but I'm going to say the words that he said. He's like, excuse me, is that it looks like Fausto. This dude had pictures of his dad hanging out with Fausto Coppi back in like the 40s, and I don't mean bike related. I mean he was just hanging out with them like at a picnic on like a quail hunt. And I was like, oh my God, dude, this is crazy. Your friends, your family friends, your father, your people are friends with Fausto Coppi. He was like an Italian legend in cycling from the, I'm going to say the 40s and into the 50s a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure if that's accurate. I'm not a historian. Okay. We better keep moving along here. Okay, so this other one, which actually I explained one time on the studio show. I was getting interviewed. You people remember the studio show a couple years ago? Man, they need to bring that back. I started this thing. It's Brussels to Luxembourg. It was a race back, and it was a long race. It was crazy long. I think it was like 400 kilometers long, or longer than that. Brussels to Luxembourg. And these, back then, they had to fend for themselves. If they had a puncture, they had to fix it right there. They didn't have support vehicles. They didn't have race radios. They had to fix the bike or find a blacksmith and pound away on their fork if they broke it. They couldn't even let the blacksmith fix it. Anyway, they needed water, and so these dudes they're in some sort of a horse trough, it looks like to me, getting a bunch of water, and this dude came out with a bucket. He's like, no, dude, let me bring you some fresher water than that. You guys are drinking out of the horse trough. Isn't that what it looks like when you think about it? I love the picture, but it's like, wait, is that a trough for humans to splash around in? Because in the original photo, there's water flying every place. These dudes are thirsty and they're splashing around in the water. Well, I didn't include all that. It was hard enough getting these 7 humans in the painting. And there's a story that goes along with that. I'm not going to get into it, though, because this is getting long-winded probably for you people. Needless to say, okay, now over here, this was for Bicycle Times magazine. They had asked me to, if they could use some of my artwork for a cover for an issue in like basically the spring/summer 2012 was when it was going to. Well, they asked me before that, because I needed to actually, paint it. But that's when the issue came. So anyhow, it was cool. They needed to see some sketches. At first I was confused. I thought they wanted to use a painting I'd done already. This was the first sketch that I sent them. See, there's a couple of figures in here. Okay, there's a figure, and there's a figure. One of the figures is has had it with the other figure, probably, hence sticking the tongue out at him. Like, okay, you don't have to, you don't have to put your hand on my back like you're guiding me along, bro. You don't, you don't need to be touching on me. It's Victorian looking, okay? They said, oh, wow, we like this. We like the style of it, but we want it to be more contemporary. We don't need it to be all Victorian looking, and we need more contemporary. I go, oh God, okay. So I was like, I better sketch another one up. So I sketched another one. These are on newsprint, by the way. This is just newsprint that I mounted later because they were just starting to deteriorate in in a sketch pad sitting in my house. From just sitting there. Anyway, so I then did this second one, and they said, "Oh, wow, we like its contemporary, kind of more contemporary feel, but not necessarily a specific time period. Uh, but we want them to be on separate bikes. We don't want them to be on a tandem. This isn't a tandem issue. If it was a tandem issue, well, anyway, so I started a panic, and I did the third sketch. And the third sketch looked like this. I don't have the sketch anymore, but so it looked like this, but in sketch form. And they said, "Yep, dude, that we like it. Go with it. Go with it. You got less than a month. Let's go." Snap, snap, snap. No, they weren't. They weren't. They weren't. He didn't sweat me on it, but I was sweating myself because there wasn't a large time frame. Okay. Anyway, so this was that, and I based this off a sketch. Off of there's a certain style of bike racing called the Madison, which is usually it's done on a velodrome, and it looks like she is like, come on, boom, and she's like grabbing him by the hand and throwing him past, like, come on, let's go. It's like if you watch the Olympics and you see him on a track, like track racing, it's indoor, it's like on a closed, like usually 333 millimeter, not millimeter, 300, they're not fleas, it's not circus fleas, that's 333 meter track is what it is. It's not millimeters. People need to quit.